Hello again, Michael Mackey for President. You can reach me at www.mackeyforpresident.com or www.votocracy.com. Today I want to talk to you about emotion. Emotion has no place in politics. That being said, obviously people are going to get emotional out of when they consider politics, but a person I admire very much taught me to do the research, do the homework, and no matter how mad anybody gets at you, if you know what you're talking about, they've got nothing to say. Yesterday I made a comment on Facebook. I posted about a woman in her 40s who saw someone stealing alcohol or beer out of Walmart, 3 kids, and she went after them. And she jumped on the car, and she got a couple bruises, but because of her actions, they were caught. The police got there, of course, long after the incident occurred, and she was admonished for, you shouldn't have gotten involved, you could have got hurt, you didn't know if they were carrying a gun, blah, 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 the usual rhetoric. And I said, the police are never there when you need them because now they're revenue collectors. And of course I got feedback, and it was negative feedback. Actually, no police officers gave me any feedback. It was from a lady whose father was a policeman and some other people that knew policemen, and it was like they only give you tickets for your own good and blah 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 blah. First of all, I was not admonishing police officers. I was admonishing the government that provides for a police state. You have to remember something. I am running for president because I want to fix the government and employ the Constitution and get us back on the right track. But you have to remember that the state and local governments are driven by the federal government. They're liberal too, for the most part. And I have to keep saying that. There is an exception to every rule. Governor Chris Christie, for one. Ron Paul. There are others. But the majority, 90%, and I throw that percentage out there. Usually I'm pretty accurate with percentages, but they're liberal, they're left. They want big government. They want their paychecks. They're not going to cut their pay when they can tax you, or they can get more money out of revenue collectors such as the police. I am sure no one decided to become a police officer so they could give someone a ticket for going 4 miles an hour over the speed limit. That's revenue collecting. I'm sure no police officer wants to go around handing out parking tickets because they're parked someplace and their meter ran out 3 minutes ago. But the vast majority of our police resources are used for just this type of stuff. And anyone can argue with me, but it's a fact. It's a fact. Life isn't like TV. It's not Law and Order Criminal Intent and Law and Order LA and Blue Bloods and all the wonderful police shows you see where they're solving a case every week. Washington, D.C. has a 50% success rate for solving murders every year. And part of that success rate is from any murder from any years previous to that year get thrown into the mix to make them look better. So really the success rate is, I don't know, I can't remember the exact numbers, but it's around 36 to 40%. That's not a good success rate. And Washington, D.C. is the murder capital of the world. And if you think that your city or your state's any better, it's not. Criminals almost have to turn themselves in or be morons to get caught. And that is not anything against the police officers. It's because there is no money in catching a criminal. There is only money in catching the drunk driver, the guy that goes too fast under the underpass, the speeders, whatever, ticketing kids for having a lemonade stand. Yes, that was in the news. Ticketing people or driving people out for feeding the homeless. There's money in that. There's tickets in that. In the states, the liberals use that money to try to balance their budget. To catch a murderer isn't productive. It puts no money in the coffers. Now, sometimes to catch a drug dealer does, but only because they can seize their assets and use their cars later. They can't really use the money. The money goes into, it's supposed to go into an evidence locker and remain there. Because you never know, when a retrial is going to come up, so they can't use that money. They can't confiscate the money and use it. I've sat in court and watched 3-time convicted drug abusers or drug sellers get caught with a weapon in the car, and the judge slides their file and says, if you don't do anything for a year, we'll dismiss these charges. Well, I've watched a first-time drunk driver executive that blew a .03 just get hammered on. Now, I'm not saying drunk driving is okay, because it's not. But I'm trying to give you a perspective. It's money. If there's 2 people speeding, one's an old junky car and one's a nice car, the police officer will pull over the nice car. Do you want to know why? Because the old junky car probably can't pay the ticket, but you know that the nice new car can. I posted a blog on my website. I asked people what they thought about this. No one went to my website. No one posted on my blog. But the hero that stopped a criminal offense is admonished for being a hero. That's the problem with our nation. There are no heroes anymore. Our kids look up to basketball gangster rappers. Everybody in politics is a criminal. Who do they got to look up to there? A hero is admonished on the news for being a hero. Who do they got to look up for there? Well, the police said I can't be a hero. Don't try to help your fellow man. What the hell happened to this country? We were built on heroes. If you're going to wait for the police, if you're in a dangerous situation and you're waiting for the police to save you, you're going to die. So wake up, America. Do your research, do your homework, and before you slam me, because I'm sure every police officer would much rather be chasing murderers and felons and armed robbers and thieves than giving out these little penny-ante tickets they give out to subsidize the government. I'm not saying that, these laws are made by emotion. Someone goes 4 miles over a speed limit in a 35-mile-an-hour zone. Oh, emotionally, that's terrible. Well, really, it's not. Everybody does it. The police officers, the governors, the president, everybody. You. Very few people don't speed once in a while. Very few people don't break these little teeny laws. And it's okay, because I got to get to work or I got caught in a traffic jam. And if you're one of the few perfect people that never does anything wrong, I'm sorry. There's exceptions to every rule. Let's employ our police. They're to protect and serve the American individual, not the state, not the government. Once again. So do your homework before you contact me. People think emotionally. I'll give you one more example before I go. There are a lot of anti-gun, anti-Second Amendment advocates out there because children get shot with guns on accident every year. A few, just a small amount, but a few. Well, here's the fact. Here's the true real fact. For every one child that accidentally shoots himself with a gun, over 100 die in swimming pool accidents, either their own or their friends. Nobody is screaming about swimming pools in the backyard because the perception and the emotion is the gun is a terrible thing. It's a weapon. Its only use is for murder. Or how about to deter murderers? But anyway, so that's the perception. But death by drowning is a much more painful, terrible death than death by a gunshot wound. Do the research. Don't take my word for it. Do the research. Stop thinking emotionally. You have to do the research. You have to be right. You can't base laws on emotion. And if you want emotion in the mix, that's the jury's department. So be a professional juror, and then you can be as emotional as you want. Once again, this all ties into the Constitution. This all ties into our government. This all ties into the fact that we're in a depression, and the only way for states to break even is to push the police to take them off murders and violent crime and put them on revenue collecting. Essentially, they're meter maids. Now, I hope I get a ton of people back complaining about this video. And I hope they do their research first, and if they don't, I'll do it for them. But it would be a start. Maybe I'll make people mad, and they'll go, Jesus Christ, we don't... This Mackey, for the most part, is okay, but I don't like this. I don't like this. And it'll get you involved. I doubt it, but I'm hoping. Once again, Mackey for president, out. I love y'all. And believe me, my dad was a cop. I love police officers. I think they're great, except for the ones that are bullies and criminals. My hat's off to them. My dad got me into the police academy a long, long time ago, and I wouldn't go for Detroit because, you know what? If I found out a guy molested a child, I'd shoot him. I couldn't be objective. It's got to be hard to be objective in that type of situation. Once again, Mackey for president. If you want liberty and freedom, you want the Constitution. Liberty and freedom via the Constitution. Mackey for president, out.